Hey, Dreaming of Diamond, it is our weekly kickoff. I am so excited about this. We have special guests. We have our new format that we're just incorporating and we're loving, and we're so excited and thankful that we get to learn from three women that mean so very much to me. And we're going to kick it off tonight with an interview with our precious friend, Kelly Stimmerman, and she's going to talk to us about her product experience. And so I'm so excited about this. So, Kelly, why did you start Plexus? Like what made you say yes? Like what brought you here?
So I was watching Stephanie and I just was kind of being, hey ladies, I just felt crummy. I was at a point where I knew that I needed to change something because my acid reflux was out of control. My weight was out of control. Like I just felt like crap, honestly, to tell you the truth. And so I just knew I needed to make a change for myself and I didn't know what it was. And I had tried different things and it didn't quite work. And so I figured, why not? Why not try Plexus to see if it helps me? Because other products that I had tried before, I had tried like Thrive and things like that, Esogenics and everything. And nothing seemed to help. Like I seemed to be getting worse symptoms than getting better than healing. So that's why I started really just to try to feel, I needed to feel better myself.
Right. And we kind of mentioned this before we started recording, but this is a principal, y'all. We've obviously you started as a teacher and we've kind of watched your transition through that. So,
Yeah.
high stress job, high stress. So tell us what your favorite product is. Like what do you love the most? If you had to pick one, which I know is tough, what would you pick?
Yeah, it's tough. Can I pick two? Can I say
Yeah,
two? Okay.
sure.
So, another thing too, I just want to throw this in there as we all are on here to, we also share, And so another reason I started, once I got going with the products, I also knew that I needed some financial freedom. And so, I had just things going on in my life, starting my doctorate, things like that. So I needed that financial freedom to help me through as well. So that's another reason why I really started. But I'm going to give you two of my favorite products. I like them all, but well, not all of them. I'm not gonna lie, but two of my favorite. There are some that I'm like, no, I'm okay. Like I just tried the Very Active for the first day the other day, and I was like, just didn't quite touch my soul. So, um, but no, I like the lean. I like the lean because for me, being busy at school, I don't have time to eat. And I found that I was gaining weight because I wasn't putting anything into my body. I
Mm-hmm.
could easily make a quick protes or I could make a lean shake. And it was very quick. And it lasted me throughout the day. So I was able to actually get some nutrition in my body, some protein in my body, instead of just starving all day. And my second one, I'm not going to lie, you guys, my second new favorite product, I don't know if I'll do it again, was Reset. I just did my first full reset. There are things in the reset. Was I like gung ho about? There's some things again didn't touch my soul, but it wasn't all about the weight loss. Like I lost 7 pounds when I did the reset. I just completed it. But really what it taught me was that there are certain things that I don't need in my life. There are certain foods I don't need in my life. I'm a Diet Coke in the morning. I was like, I didn't need a Diet Coke in the morning. Like I sustained life a-okay without it. And even like going to just certain foods, like I was just fine. Don't get me wrong, deep inside I was like, dang, that sounds really good. We went out to dinner and me and my daughter, and I just sat there while she got her dinner, and I was okay with it. I just drank water. And so anyway, it just kind of taught me some mental toughness. So I would say, for anybody that has never done the reset, like literally do it just for I would say more for the mental focus and to realize what you are capable of, not just what the product does for your body.
I love that. And really great plug for Reset as we are giving these away, right? Where everybody who's new gets one. So I just love that your journey kind of naturally brought you to talk about it. So love that. We hate to love it. We love to hate it, all the things, but it does its job. It's really amazing. So I love hearing that. I'm bringing lean back into my life too, Kelly. So I like you saying that. I love that. So if you had to give any advice to somebody who's starting out in the products? If you want to talk about the business, totally fine. But, just really, if you could give advice to the start of a journey with us, what would
Mhm.
you say to somebody who's considering it or just getting started? What would you say?
For people that are getting started with the products, I think the biggest thing is that not every product is for every single person. So it's no different than when you are starting your baby on a brand new food, right? You try it for 3 days. So you try it for 3 months. If it's not working for you, try something else. Go to something else. That doesn't mean that the product is horrible, that Plexus isn't going to work for you, but it just might not be working for your body for what your body needs. And so, really, just being consistent day in and day out. We say all the time, you didn't gain all this weight, or you didn't get this disease of some sort overnight. You're not going to lose the weight overnight. You're not going to lose the disease overnight. We've put a lot of junk in our bodies. And so it's going to take us a long time to rid that junk from our body. So, really, just being consistent with your products. And again, if something is not working, talk to somebody on the team. Everybody is amazing. Everybody will help. Ask questions. Ask why something is making you feel a certain way. So that way, if you know the why behind it, just like anything in life, if you know the why behind something, it's going to help you understand the what, right? So I really just make sure that you're consistent and that you understand the why behind why you're taking the product, or what it is that the product is doing for your body. So you understand maybe how it might make you feel at first, the detox, what benefits you might receive from it. So just really understanding it. And if it's not working, then talk to somebody because they'll help you get the right regimen.
That is perfect advice. I love that. And I just love the nudge of like, we are a root cause company. I mean, we really do focus on that. And so it's not going to happen overnight. And just that just reminder that, we have to just commit, right? That commitment is really special and important. So I love that. My dear friend Kelly, thank you so much for
And I have to
sharing.
run, but I just wanted to say hi.
Yeah.
And yes, the products, they really are amazing.
Well, we loved having you for the time we got you, sweetie. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for
Thank
that.
you. Bye.
Okay. Okay, you guys, we are going to pivot into something that I think is a really important, and this is going to be a shareable video. Um, we love her. She is a huge, we love Gillian Norman, and she's going to be talking to us about healthy swaps. Obviously, she's my bestie. That's the first notch in her belt, right? I mean, but secondly, she's certified to be talking to us about this, and so I'm really excited as we walk into these holidays that are kind of gluttonous. Tell us a little bit about some healthy swaps, my friend, and tell us what we can do to be like you.
Well, first of all, I'm super happy to be here. It's my first holiday talk of the season. So thank you. And this year, my focus on my holiday talk and like swaps and what you requested, I said, Sadie, what do you want me to talk about? And she was like, what are you thinking about? I want you to talk about what you're thinking about, what's going on in your corner of the world, and how about holiday swaps? And I was like, okay. And then I got kind of like a little too nitty gritty in the plan. Like, what are we really looking for? What do y'all really need? And I think the way I decided to go with this is swapping behaviors.
Mm.
Okay. So from if you have a particular question about a certain item, like for sure, like a certain thing, you're like, have you ever seen a better version of? I'm sure half the people here could answer some of that, and also I can too. You can message me. But today I want to focus on like 5 trouble spots for the holidays and how we can turn them around to really just make your holiday experience better. Whatever you celebrate, however you celebrate, and with whomever you celebrate, it can be much better by making a plan now. And I'm sure everyone has like a blank journal laying around their house somewhere. So you're going to start by grabbing one of those blank journals, because the first thing we need to do is write down, what do we want our December to look like? What do we want that holiday season to look like? How do we want to feel on the other side of it is really what I want to say. And y'all know what I mean, right? Because sometimes it seems to go great and things kind of move, or at least nobody noticed all the snafus, and then other times you kind of get through it, you're like a glowing unicorn at the end. And then there's some holidays where, you know, just it feels like nothing is going right. We gain 5 or 7 pounds and we argued with our mom and, you know, just this, that, and the other. Okay. So getting your head right first in journaling, how do you want to feel after the holidays? And that is really kind of my number one. So how do you want to feel after the holidays? How do you want your children, your spouse, the people you love, your whoever it is you're celebrating with throughout the month? How do you want them to feel after? And that's where we start. Because once you have that goal, then you can build your plan leading up to it. So the next thing I do in my month is I sort of plug in, and this is just in a journal. Yes, I have a calendar, but there's no room to write all this stuff down in my calendar. So in the journal, then it's like, okay, these are all the events. And some of these are happy, like fun, and some are stressful. Okay, but they're all going in. Okay, so we're writing all these things down. What am I committed to for this event? What do I need to bring? Meaning of myself. Like, are you bringing something to eat? Are you bringing children? Are you promoting? Are you bringing some kind of entertainment? So knowing how much gas you need in the tank that day for that event, to me, is really important, because then you know how to back up in that day. So if you're going to have to be high energy at an event for work or your spouse or your kid, or you have to host a birthday party in the middle of December, what do you need to do that day to set yourself up for success so you have that high energy and that high output that you need for that event? And this does not mean you're putting on a fake smile, although sometimes that does happen, but that you really have created the circumstances that allow you to shine and bring that event to life. So my first tip for events, so we're to start with events first, is always eat before an event, never show up hungry. Even if you know your best friend who's cooking the whole meal is a fabulous cook and everything's going to be great, you're going to eat first. And you're going to be able to nibble at the party, okay? Because a hungry person drinks more, eats more than expected and planned, has cuckoo blood sugar, and then starts eating dessert. Now, that might be okay for one party, but you can't get through 7 to 10 events. I mean, people usually have anywhere from 7 to 12 events in December. And we're talking about anything from classroom parties to, like, you know, some kind of Christmas gala and New Year's Eve. So everything in between. So before you go to any event, whether it's the classroom for your child or one of these, or anything in between, or a higher end event, you're always going to eat first, fat, protein, and also be hydrated. Always drink electrolytes, especially if you're going to even touch a little bit of alcohol, you need your electrolytes, okay? And then let's jump right into alcohol. I want you to make a plan for what is your goal for your alcohol intake in December, because it can get out of control really quick. And everyone's in a different place with their relationship with alcohol. I'm sure y'all have noticed that it's becoming very cool and trendy to give it up or to minimize it or to use swaps. And I have a few brands. I'll just throw them out here since it's being recorded. People can pause and listen again. But if you're looking to limit your alcohol, replace it altogether, I want you to look at 3 different brands. One is called Curious Elixirs. The next is Apothecary with a K, Kary. And the third, I haven't tried yet, but it's been recommended to me, Ritual Zero Proof. So you could absolutely replace all your alcohol in the month of December. But let's just say you didn't want to do that. If you didn't want to do that, you're going to dilute your alcohol. You're going to have a single instead of a double, and you're always going to take activated charcoal before and after your drink. And that's going to minimize the impact on your liver, because, you know, I love alcohol. Yes, I love to have a drink, but it's pretty rare for me, but I know what it does to my liver. It's neurotoxic to the brain and it's poisonous to the liver, especially once you're in perimenopause. So that means anyone over 40 and maybe people who are younger, you're already there. So alcohol is already having like a double whammy on you. So talk about derailing your holidays, because once you're drinking, you're going to eat more, sometimes double. And that's just the truth. So have a plan. Decide before you go. Don't show up and see how you feel. Do you know what I'm saying? Decide beforehand. And there's not, you know, I don't personally, as a health coach, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a drink, as long as you've prepared your body and you know what's coming. Kind of like you take your balance before your high carb meal, or having alcohol, you need your charcoal, you need a meal in you, you need protein and fat, and you need to be hydrated. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Limit or skipping alcohol, preparing for these parties, writing all this stuff down in advance. The next one is movement. Movement is tricky. No one has time in December for extra movement. So all I'm asking for is that when you get up out of bed in the morning, you just set that alarm like 15 minutes early and you do something for 15 minutes. I don't care if you're just marching on the 2 steps of your staircase. I don't care if you're pacing around inside your house or outside if it's not snowing. It's 15 minutes. Do y'all know you can walk a mile in 13 point something minutes? I know this. I just learned this about myself. So you can get a nice pace still in zone 2, like fat burning zone 2, 1 mile, 13 minutes, you're done. Did y'all know you could do that? Some of y'all might have known that already. I just recently figured that out about myself. You don't necessarily need 10,000 steps a day. That's kind of made up. It's like 6 feet apart. These are made up terms. Okay. The scientific information about walking is 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day reduces all-cause mortality. Okay. Now, if you're already like, well, hey, I'm around 6 already, what should I do? Add 4,000. So that's the next recommendation. Whatever you're at, if you're looking to increase it, you're trying to increase by about 4,000. If that overwhelms you, add 1,000. Okay. And whatever it is you've decided, you need to kind of figure out your benchmark now, and you're going to write it down. I'd love for every page of your journal is a day, and you've kind of planned out what's going to happen that day. Okay. You can move this stuff electronically into your calendar if you like, but sometimes I just need things on paper and like on the counter all the time, like on the recipe stand. Okay. The other thing you could do, so I said get up and move for 15 minutes. So what I want is you to move 15 minutes 3 times a day. I don't care what you do. Walking, pacing on your steps, listening to your voicemail, on your walking pad, standing, doing your email, walking around the block. It could be your fitness, whatever that workout is for you. If you're like, Gillian, I don't see how that's going to work. Some days it's not going to work. So here's what you're going to do. And nobody can say no. You ready? Everyone say yes. Even if you can't do the other, I can do this. 10 squats every hour that you're awake. Okay. It's going to lower your blood sugar. It's going to increase your bone density. It's going to increase your muscle mass. And it will literally lower your blood sugar, especially after eating. But sitting is considered the new smoking. So 10 squats an hour is the antidote. Okay. So we're just talking about, y'all don't laugh at my pants. Hey, but we're just talking about just 10 squats. That's it. Okay. Nothing crazy. Do what you can. Don't bust your knees. Okay. We're moving on. Can we all agree to that? Yeah. Okay. Nutrition. So the focus for December, like every other month, is protein. So women, ladies, you're looking for a gram of protein for every pound of body weight. Minimum 100 grams a day. So if you're like, whoa, like I don't even eat breakfast. Okay, so you're gonna start small. And your goal is between 25 and 30 grams a meal. That's for like the beginner. And if you don't know how to do that, you got to talk to a friend, phone a friend, figure it out, Google, find a YouTube. Hey, I've got a little something I'll map out for you here in a minute. But ideally, those of you who are like, yep, this is my jam. I'm working on this. I'm in this lane. This is me, 35 grams a meal. And then you need to have a snack that's protein also. All right. Make a plan. Okay. Also in your nutrition category, what days are you going to fast? Are you going to fast? What days maybe you'll do some intermittent fasting if that's in your spirit right now. What days could you do a full fast and maybe just drink bone broth all day? Like Kettle and Fire, Dr. Kelly Ann. There's a couple other good brands out there, or you can make your own. Making your own is always the best. So nutrition also, eat in order. Veggies first, fiber. Okay, veggie fiber first, protein with your fat second. And if you're having a starch is last, then it has minimal impact on your blood sugar. Okay, that if you like that information, that's from the Glucose Goddess. Her book is called Glucose Revolution. She has 20 fantastic, basically free things you can do for your health every single day. Okay, here's a hard one for me. Sleep. Y'all, women need, okay, so let's talk about our men. Men need 7 to 8 hours a night. That's ideal. We've always thought that too, but the new studies show that women need 9 to 10 hours. That is like shocking to me. And here's why. because the biological impact of the hormone, the stress hormone cortisol on us is diabolical. So we must get additional sleep. This does not mean we're not strong. It does not mean we can't handle our lives. It just means we need to stop at some point in the evening and be like, it'd be better for me to get another 90 minutes of sleep than to half-ass this project into the wee hours of the night. So we need to, gotta be strategic, right? We've all done it, right? And I am speaking from my own life experience here, but I know we're all women here. We all have experienced that as well. And I'm sure some of our men will listen. And like my husband, I told him that I require more sleep than him. And he was like, wow, where'd you get that? And I made him watch a video. So he does encourage me now. He's like, okay, are you going to get off? He's trying to be nice. He's like, you want to get off your phone? And I'm like, yes, so it's like, sometimes we need those reminders, but having it written down as a goal, can you get it every night? Probably not. Are you getting all your perfect protein every day? Probably not. Are you getting all your perfect movement every day? Probably not. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't try. So the goal is 9 to 10 hours. It's really hard for me to say that, but just try it for a few days a week or more and see how different you feel. Your temper is going to go down. Your stress management is going to go up. Not that you need more stress, but you're going to manage it better. Your decision making goes up. Your brain fog goes down. And here's one of the most important parts is that a sleep deprived person, it eats more the next day. They eat more, they're more likely to consume alcohol, they're more likely to snack. And let's just say Jody and I, we eat the same breakfast. Okay, let's say we both have, some toast, some eggs, some bacon, whatever we eat, Jody. We both have the identical breakfast. But if Jody was sleep deprived on 6 hours and I got my somewhere between 8 and 10, the same breakfast, my blood sugar is going to be stable and Jody's is going to spike. It is wild to me. So your sleep sets up your blood sugar response for the next day. Okay, moving on, I'm trying to go fast because, I got all the tips and maybe Sadie won't look at the clock. Okay, so sleep. Oh, two more tips about sleep. Just read a new study about putting a red light bulb in your bedroom. Not all day, like that would be weird. But maybe a different lamp that you turn on has a red light bulb in it, not fancy, not official infrared light. But there's something about this red light in the bedroom now, especially if you're turning off all the blue lights. No more screens and TVs and laptops and iPads and tablets and oh my. So once that red light goes on and you start to settle, there's something that it mimics like sunset light, and sunset light is very, very good for your brain and getting you settled down. So the red light is supposed to help you calm down if you have trouble settling down at night, like me. Okay. And then of course, to have a good night of sleep, you have to have morning sun. Doesn't mean you have to look at the sun, but you got to be outside, look in the sunlight within, 90 minutes of waking. And if you're really struggling, take some inositol. INOSITOL. Okay, stress. I'm going to give you some words around stress. Everyone has stress. You can't get rid of it, all of it, but you can learn to manage it better by a lot of the things we just mentioned. And then some other things here. If you're really struggling, like stress, borderline anxiety, we need to work on breath work. There's free apps like Calm. There's hypnotherapy apps. And I don't mean like true hypnosis. You're not going to bark like a dog or cluck like a chicken, but they do get you into that deep state relaxation and can plant some of those good thoughts for you to help you manage your stress better. Grounding, getting outside on the earth every single day with bare feet, or just sitting down in your clothes on the ground will also work. Movement, any kind of movement, we talked about, I hate to call it exercise. It doesn't have to be like something that you despise, because a lot of people have a negative feeling around exercise, but movement lowers your stress. But back to sleep. Sleep is the #1 way to metabolize your stress hormone cortisol. So all the more reason to get that. So when you're super duper extra stressed, staying up to finish wrapping all the gifts perfectly with a beautiful bow is not the solution. It will not make you less stressed. Sleeping will make you less stressed, and then you'll be higher functioning the next day. Hydration, of course, just 2% dehydration causes you to feel You can have headaches, you can have heart palpitations. We're not even talking about like the plexus stuff yet, like the can't poop. We're talking about just like the wellness that you feel. So even just a tiny bit of dehydration, how would you know if you're 2% dehydrated? Well, you would have a body composition scale. So everyone should have something like that. Okay, let's see. So just wanted to give you a quick protein example, because I said 100, at least 100 grams for a beginner, 35 and up per meal for someone who's already doing this. But like 4 eggs, it's about 32 grams of protein. Later in the day, plexus shake, that's already 22. You haven't even added anything to it yet. Oikos, their power yogurt, 20 grams. Add a scoop of lean, you're now up over 30. That's one of my favorite tricks. Okay. Chicken breast with nothing around it yet already has 20 grams of protein. That's 105 grams right there. And we didn't even talk about meals. We just talked about a shake, a couple of, 4 eggs, a little yogurt snack, and a chicken breast, which is in one of your meals. So only the reason why we have trouble getting our protein is because we don't plan, and then we nibble and snack. And so wherever your deficit is in protein, you're going to make it up in carbs. That's just a fact. I learned it from a nurse. So you can decide, well, I can't do that. The best I can do is 75 grams of protein. Well, fine, but you're going to make up for it in carbs. So are you okay with that? If you are, great. But I just want people to understand, the implication. I think we already talked about reset. Make a plan. If you want to do a reset, plan it now, make it happen, commit and do it. I'm planning on doing one after Thanksgiving and then after Christmas, sometime between the holidays. We don't, because that helps me stay on track. If you're like, reset's not for me, like our friend that just shared about reset, you could fast 2 days a week with bone broth. You could use 2 days of the reset box, buy it on sale. You could do 3 days of intermittent fasting and then 2 days of normal eating. Don't do the same thing every single day is the bottom line. You want metabolic confusion. You want your body always like, oh, we don't know what's happening. You don't want the same workout every day. You don't want to eat the exact same thing every day and fast the same exact way every single day, especially if you're perimenopausal. You need to mix it up. I mention that now because I am. So it's like my new brand. Okay. Not really. I don't want it to be. Yeah, Jody. This is not the brand I wanted. I didn't ask for it, but here we are. Okay. The last thing is you got to be praying every day. Get in touch with your spirit, the spirit, whatever it is for you. Find some service you can do in your community with your kids, with a friend, with your team. But just every single day, journal that prayer down, journal that gratitude. Reach out to someone and say hi. Reach out to someone every single day, just for no reason. Find people that you haven't talked to in a while, family members, old cousins, friends, your bestie from high school. That's really it. I'm sure I took up too much time, but I just couldn't whittle it down. I hope it's helpful. Those weren't really holiday swaps. It's like, you got to do it. You just have to do it.
But these are like strong reminders for, like, I was listening and I was like, I feel like this isn't a holiday plan. This is an everyday plan, and I'm not really nailing it. So thank you. And we are recording, so I will be going back. Yeah, that was absolutely perfect. And what was helpful for me was all of it, clearly, but I loved, your ideas around getting the protein in. 35 grams a meal helps me. Just, just kind of that focus of that. And so I appreciate it. As always, I love you. I don't know if anyone's going to have questions, but if you have questions, you could type them in the chat. She is certified. She's legit. So this is wonderful advice. And I just thank you so much for being here, my sweet friend. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are going to have our resident Mommy Tiger bring us home with some motivation, some prayer. I don't know what she's going to do. Mandy NOSS is going to be helping us move into this holiday week boldly. I know it's going to be bold. Whatever it is going to be bold and fantastic. And I cannot wait to hear from you. So.
Hey, everybody. Yeah. You guys, I was excited to clarify about 10 minutes ago what I was going to be talking about, because I always shoot from the hip, and then I wrote a bunch of chicken scratch down. But Gillian, thank you so much for all of that. I was writing all kinds of stuff down, and I feel like a big nerd when it comes to the healthy swaps, but I loved all your tidbits. And I really need to focus on that sleep thing. So that's something I'll never be good at.
Same.
Anyway, when I was writing down my thoughts about motivation, when I was writing down my thoughts about strength and power, the first thing I thought about is how God provides all of that for us. If you aren't starting your day with a thankful heart full of gratitude for all he's created and the universe that we live in, you're missing the boat, because gratitude is what drives us and it keeps us on the right channel in our mind. When we're on the right channel, we're going to bring good energy. We're going to bring good vibrations to the whole world. Everywhere we go, we're going to have a glass half full vibe, because that's God working through us as his vessels for good. And we are the queens of being used as vessels for good here in a multi-level marketing company. Because how do we win? Connection. How do we have connection? Good vibes and being what people want to touch, to see, to feel, to breathe. You have to be the energy that you expect to receive back. If you're a wet blanket, if you're an Eeyore, if you're playing the violin so loud, everybody's kind of like, shut it pie, you're not going to do anything productive here. People are going to run. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can hardly handle it. Even if you're strong in your faith and you're strong in your mindset, if somebody is like, whoa, too much for me to handle, I run the other way, because I'm an empath and I don't want to soak up their funk. You know what I mean? Who wants to soak up the funk of other people? So be a fountain, not a drain, and have a plan. We have to have a plan. If we're going to make things happen, we can't be like, I'm a diamond, without writing down the goal and writing down the strategy and plugging into the team calls and plugging into your leader, and then speaking the goal, believing the goal, visualizing the goal, praying over the goal. And it's not just that one time that you felt like, ooh, it was hot today. It's an everyday thing. It becomes a ritual. It becomes you. It becomes who you are. And it draws other like-minded people to you. You become the guide. You become the mentor. You become the leader. So many people want to be the leader, but then they turn it down because something came up. My kid had this sport. I couldn't make it. I couldn't get on the call. I was tired. I worked my full-time job. Wham, wham. You don't want it. You don't want it bad enough, because every single person, every single jewel on this team that wanted it bad enough worked full-time with kids, managed to be a wife, managed to be a mother, managed to go to church, managed to be a room mom, managed to do all the things and still hit their goals, because they stopped making the excuses and they turned those excuses into the reason to do the damn thing. Quitting, right? All of us do it. All of us think, oh, it's just not going to work for me. Why isn't it going to work? It's the mindset. Turn the channel, right? Go back to the goals. Go back to the why of worth. Wow. It has to make you cry. It has to make you want to do it when it doesn't feel like you want to do it because you're tired. You don't want to do it because your husband's out of town. You don't want to do it because your husband's working 12-hour days. Then he's got to go work a side job. You don't want to do it because you had a loss. You don't want to do it because oh my gosh, I'm just so worn out. Oh my gosh, I feel sick. Whatever it is, you have to know your wow. Like, what makes you fall down on your knees and thank God that you even have the opportunity to do this side hustle? That's how it has to feel. It has to be electric. And every single one of us have been through valleys where we felt less than us. And that's when you lean into your friends and your side sisters and your mentors. And that's when you go and get your Bible and you go get that podcast and you go get that book and you go to grow through the shit. Go grow through it, because that makes us unstoppable. It makes us full of God's love, because he's not going to say it's always easy. He's going to say it's worth it. And he would not plant it in your heart if it wasn't for you, right? It's that simple. So the things that I feel like are very, very important: setting the mini achievable goals. I want to be a diamond, but what I want to do is I want to feel good about it. So I'm going to get my 4, because I want that holiday cash, because mama wants some new leggings, or I want to surprise the kids with whatever makes them happy. But think of like your mini wows. What is my mini wow this week? My mini wow is signing my 4 people before the holiday comes, because that's when everybody gets chaotic and distracted, right? So you're writing down the goal of doing that. You're setting yourself up to win. You're prioritizing when you're going to work. Because if you don't set a little nook and cranny, a little ritual for your day, it's easy to push it off. It's easy to say, oh, I gotta plan XYZ. I can't do that then. You have to etch in your time calendar. You got to write down your time block when you're doing it. When are you reaching out to those 12 people? When are you following up with them? When are you going down your team? When are you following up with the people you reached out a month ago? You have to be crisp, clear, directed. It can't just be like flying by the seat of your pants all the time. Even though that's my vibe, I even have to write down what I'm doing and check off my list. You do too. Every one of us does because we're all human beings. And if you're ADHD, it's harder for us, but we can do it. We can do it. So we wrote down our goals. We're speaking our goals. We're visualizing our goals. We're thanking God for hitting our goals before it even happens because we believe it's done. And then we do our joy filled space stuff like good music, like happy things, like events, like connection with the people we love, the people that have joined us already. And that makes us feel good too, right? It's about the balance of the icky with the awesome because not everything makes me feel joyful. I don't always like asking every single person what their dosing is, right? I don't always like doing the mundane crap that we have to do. But what I do like seeing and doing is uh, like watching lives impacted from them staying consistently on the program and constantly feeling us hold their hand. Once they enroll with you, that's when the work starts, right? But it's also what makes us feel joy, pouring into other people. When we're feeling self-focused and we're looking at ourselves, that's when we're kind of like, yeah, the pump up's wearing off. So that's when we look to other people. So the driving force behind the motivation is action. The action comes from being prepared, knowing what we want to accomplish, and doing the damn thing. And all of our power and all of our strength comes from the Lord. Bingo. That's what's up. Mama's done.
I love it. Thank you so much. I knew you were gonna just thrust us into this week. And, strong reminder too that like I loved how you reminded us that like a heart full of gratitude really gets different results. I mean, that's really the point is that a grateful heart brings different results. And so, it's really easy to sit in the space of what's not happening for us, but what would happen if instead we flipped that and we started with the gratitude of what we have been blessed with.
Oh, yeah.
No, he can't give us more. I don't think if we're just sitting and waiting and feeling like it's not enough. Right. So we have to find that beautiful balance and beautiful, joyful space. So thank you so much, my love. Thank
Love
you
you.
so much. You guys, we're walking into Thanksgiving. Not my favorite food holiday. I'm not gonna lie. Want to zip past this one. Don't really care much for a green bean casserole, but that is okay. I know I'm in the minority. I know I am. So anyways, loved tonight, loved my beautiful friends that spoke. Thank you so much. We love you. Happy Thanksgiving. We're gonna have a beautiful start to our week tomorrow. And I love you.
Love you all.
Yay.